So I wanted just to share this with you. I'm not an expert in all of these things. I've either run into them from an education standpoint or some in process, but there are different frameworks on how you develop, your services, your systems, your operations or products, in an agile way. You've got these Scrum frameworks, right? Which again, they're like daily stand-ups is kind of what we used to always call them a Scrum, and using these 2 week sprints so that you're breaking down where you're going in 2 weeks and getting this iterative loop. Kanban, which you see in manufacturing, is always about like minimizing the work in progress. So things aren't stuck, either inventory, people, that kind of stuff, right? They're not stuck in a long process. You've got lean methodologies. This is really interesting. And you guys can go dive into this stuff a little bit later. And then this XP stuff where I believe this one is where you're kind of pairing people up and then they're developing things very, very quickly and testing, constantly. So these are some of the things that you guys can go look at a little bit later. And then of course, I've already hit some of these things, but like, the flexibility. I mean, I would say that, before there was the magical unicorn of, what Apple has become, before Google, before Facebook, before Salesforce and all these guys, I think Dell was where I, cut my teeth in business, was one of the original unicorns. And the reason why was 100% agile operations. That was our, we didn't call it that at the time, but we had a culture that was so maniacal on improvement, from supply chain management to manufacturing, to marketing online, to HR, to everything. I mean, it was constantly in change and constantly. And I got to tell you, at the end of the day, only one thing mattered, but all of it added up to one thing, which was we were getting stuff to market faster, which drove PR, that drove demand, right? Because we were announcing new technologies. And yet we really were not a technology company. We didn't design any hard drives in the early days. We didn't design the laptops. They were actually made in Taiwan. But guess what? We won the battle as a tech company without designing or building any of our own tech, because of all of these methodologies were there. So if you find yourself in like a first to market type business, like everybody in tech is, agile methodologies in your business operations and systems is critical and can win the entire game, right? There's no doubt about it, right? It drives, and even doing well there drives a lot of demand, as we saw there. But I just want to say that, you have to have the flexibility to make this thing happen. And again, you actually end up having higher quality. Imagine if I would have pumped something out that was the first round, but we got done with the 18-month Gantt chart development, and now it gets put out there.